So hello everyone, we are back with another session for current affairs, which we will try to discuss today exhaustively using some of the strategies that you need to make while you are associating yourself with current affairs. See, this current affairs has been taken off from various sources. It may be a newspaper, it may be a magazine, okay, it may be various other editorials that are covered in each and every respective newspapers across the country. Okay, so therefore this current affairs becomes very relevant and important for you all. Okay, so let's start with today's analysis. Yes, the first question says about polity and governance. Zoom in now. Okay, polity and governance. So in some of the questions that we have seen in the recent times, various questions has been asked with respective to statements. Supposedly over here we can see the statement given by the Chief Justice of India that we are answerable to the Constitution and the Constitution alone, CJI. It says something about the strict separation of judiciary. The strict separation of judiciary with respective to the legislature and the executive. The legislature and the executive directly works what? In tandem. Okay. Because we know that the person who is a part of the legislature, they are also a part of the executive. Supposedly take the example of the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister is an MP first, and then he is directly turning on to become the Prime Minister of India, who has got some of the say over executive decisions. Okay, so ekhini bostu amar yad thake. So therefore we are answerable to the Constitution and Constitution alone. It says about the separation of power of the judiciary from the executive and the legislature. Okay, so now what has been said over here, that Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramanna said that the political party in power believes that every governmental action is entitled to judicial endorsement, and the opposition expects the judiciary to advance their political positions. However, it is only the judiciary that is answerable to the Constitution, judiciary to advance their political positions and causes. Justice Ramanna said this flawed thinking of all use flourishes in the absence of proper understanding among people about the Constitution and the functioning of the democratic institutions. So therefore, this things becomes very important once you are directly going with some of the decisions that has been taken by the Supreme Court. So, Judima Justice Ramanna kotha kau, with the change in the government policies to change, however, no sensible government would alter the policies to slow down the growth of its territory. Mane koise je sao, so government policy je bear karne hoy hetu nohoy. Okay, so opposition also should not behave like that they should oppose everything that is associated even for development, even for growth of the respective country. So therefore there should be a opposition which is very much of fair enough to go and make itself presence in the respective democracy. Because without a healthy opposition, you cannot expect a democracy to sustain for a longer period of time. Okay, so yate hetu kothai kole je government to enuka hobo nalage hodai kisuman territory kotha beake bhabibole ba hodai opposition enuka hobo nalage jot government ok sob kothate toki thake. So that is the prime criteria of this particular speech. But the other thing, all of brief history down about the Supreme Court of India. So we have seen that the promulgation of the Regulating Act of 1773 established the Supreme Court of Judiciary at Calcutta, and which is basically acting as a court of record, which will full power and authority. So this was established to hear and determine all complaints of any crimes, that is to entertain hearings and determine various suits or actions in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Because that was basically under the control of the Governor General of Bengal at that point of time. So the Supreme Courts at Madras and Bombay were established by the time of King George III. We all know about these things. In 1800s and 1823 respectively. So even the Indian High Courts Act of 1861 created high courts for the various provinces and abolished Supreme Court of India at Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, and also the Sadar Adalats in presidency towns. So today we know that Supreme Courts are very essential part. Supreme Court is a very essential part with respective to the elements of the judiciary mechanisms of our country. So in certain stage of time, if I have to say about the constitutional provisions under Supreme Court, I can say that the Indian Constitution provides for the Supreme Court the Part 5, that is the Union, and Chapter 6, the Union Judiciary, where Article 124 to Article 147 in Part 5 of the Constitution deals with the organization, independence, and then we can say about the jurisdiction and also the powers and procedures of the Supreme Court. So core पर डायरेक्ट हुए से 124 to 147 in Part 5 of the Indian Constitution. And today we know that that is the Supreme Court has got powers with respective to original, appellate, as well as advisory jurisdiction. So ARO power আছে, court of recorder power আছে, power of judicial review আছে, maintaining its own staff. They have got immense power. So that is the aspect of the Supreme Court. So now if I have to say about the organizational structure of the Supreme Court, mostly organizational structure of কথাটো কওঁ. So today the organization of the Supreme Court is much affected. আজি যদি মই if I have to say about the organizational content, that has got a prime evidence that how a Supreme Court is basically formed. So today I have to say that Supreme Court number of judges bill 2019 has added 4 new judges to its strength, which increased the judicial strength from 31 to 34, including the CJI. Originally, when the strength of the Supreme Court was given, it was fixed at 8. 1 Chief Justice plus 7 other senior most judges. And the Parliament is authorized to regulate them. So today we have got a Supreme Court which is the supreme element in our country in terms of judiciary. And obviously we know that today we have got a contest between the appointment and transfers of the judicial members, which is basically done via the collegium system, and obviously not by the NJAC, which was promulgated by the 99 CAA of 2014, which was abolished or which was being made null and void by the Supreme Court, saying that it is basically an intervention of the legislature on judiciary. Okay, so ekhini asile with respect to this particular article. Next, if I have to say, Assam recognized as a leader in developing strong startup ecosystem. Okay, so Amar Yate, we can see that it is the Nest to Nature entrepreneurships, providing incentives and financials to women entrepreneurs, and conducting a high number of outreach programs with key ecosystem players. The state startup ranking is an annual report by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internet Trade, that is DPIIT, grading the Indian states and UTs according to their startup ecosystems. Okay, so today, that Assam has scored 100th percentile in providing mentorship support and recorded 60th percentile in capacity building and enablers. 44th in incubation support and 38th in institutional support as compared to the other participating states and union territories. So yate ki ahi jay India's startup ecosystem. Assam also botke bhal. But today if I have to say about India's startup ecosystem, which has been on a rapid growth trajectory in recent years, with a strong force of technology and e-commerce. So the government, through initiatives such as the Startup India, has been actively promoting entrepreneurships and providing support to young companies. It's a good initiative made by the government of India. Yes or no? Okay. So at such a point of time, private investment in startups has also been on the rise with a significant number of venture capital firms, and also investors actively funding and supporting early stage companies. So despite this rapid growth of India's startup ecosystem, there are still challenges that needs to be addressed. But if I have to say about the overall strategy of the Indian startup ecosystem, overall the Indian startups ecosystem was a strong growth trajectory and is poised to continue to be a major player at the global startup scenes. Today, we know that the startup potential in India is very much of supreme. Why? Because we have got a large domestic market. Tamar market is also. Okay? So India has a large domestic market for technology-based products and services, providing a ready-made for startups to sell their products and services. Also today, the government is basically supporting this startup ecosystem. So the government has been actively promoting entrepreneurships through the initiatives such as Atmanirbhar Bharat, Digital India, providing support to the young companies, the rise of the sharks private investments. Suppose today if I have to say about the private investments in startups has been on the rise in India with the significant number of venture capital firms and angel investors which are actively funding and supporting early stage companies. So today we can even see the advancements in technologies with internet penetration has enabled startups to scale up quickly. And the e-commerce market in India has seen a significant growth in India, providing a ready market in the e-commerce space. Today if I have to say about the startup hubs, Kungikhon city kotha kobo paru, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi NCR, Hyderabad, startup ecosystem provide kora goise. And Bengaluru in particular has dubbed to be what? The Silicon Valley of India. Due to large number of technologies companies based in that particular city, we have got a good number of special economic zones over there for the startup ecosystem to bloom. So today, through various number of funds, through various number of awards, to various number of forums, also through various number of initiatives, the government is trying their level best to set up and make India to be a hub of startup ecosystem. Our target is here to news Assam or Katha. Assam is basically said to be the leader in developing strong startup systems. So therefore you have to remember this one. The question may come something like how Assam has evolved itself to be one of the great state in the startup ecosystem. So you have to go for with various number of initiatives that has been taken by the respective state government. Okay, next Ahizam. Polyester fabrics price hike hits Falgusi silk industry hard. So it is basically, you can say about the silk industry of Falgusi, okay, which is also known as the Manchester of Assam. So yate the silk industry of Swalgusi has been hit hard due to the rising price of silk yarn and the flooding of cheap polyester cloth in the market. Jitu machine made product hoy, polyester hoy, cheap polyester hoy, hetu azikali market of basic available hoy ase. Aru hetu karone maybe this particular industry is basically suffering, which makes its raw material from this respective yarns. Okay, so azikali manhe obviously jitu ami machine made product kon suppose jodi moi jodi gamusa khonar kothai kon hatere boa gamusa eta aru machinery boa gamusa ekhon, it's like jamin asman ka fark. And government is not directly encouraging the gamusas made from machine. So obviously this is of lesser cost. Okay, aru yar jitu efficiency hoy hetu bahut kom lage. Okay, hard work bahut kom lage. But jodi moi ko hatere boa, okay, ba our yarns thread kora. So obviously this has got a good challenge, and obviously we can see that they have got a good output at such a scenario. So yate cheap polyester karone directly silk industry affect korise. So therefore you can see that today in the state of Assam we have got around 20,000 looms in Swalgudi which produce more than 30 lakh linear meters of hand woven silk fabrics worth over rupees 90 crore a year. But jodi aji ami ekhon industry support nokoru, then obviously this whole Manchester of Assam would be a total in loss. So hetuwe puruke yat kotha to koa goise, since it's a news, therefore I have discussed it. Next ahi jai Assam Arunachal agree on status of 37 disputed villages. Sarma Khandu 9 signs Namsai declaration. Very very important for your exam purpose in terms of internal security বা governance. Ahi boi ahibo murpa likhil baitu. Okay, come back to me and then ask me, sir apuni kyo koisile etu kotha apuni paper khon jane neki? Nai moi paper najanu, but still moi janu je a question to ahiboi ahibo. I can guarantee you. Okay, and obviously we will try to produce this type of question in your full length test. Okay, the schedules of our full length test will be declared to you soon. Okay, so keep tuning with us, and then you will know each and every aspect about how we are basically going to launch the test series. Okay, that is the full length. Are we do pura according to the APSC exam pattern hobo. Okay, janeke agbala pisbala continuously teneke exam to dibo. So that you have got a habit in practicing to write answers 3 days continuously. Okay, so yate ahi gol ki Assam Arunachal agree on status of 37 disputed villages and hetu ki boli koa goisu ami namsai declaration. Okay, so yate koa goise which are the areas, the location of the 6 villages, man nam rahibo dorkar nai, but ami jodi ko major highlights of this agreement. So Assam and Arunachal directly share a border of Himan 804. This is the border 804 long boundary. Okay, ekhini amar border. So the agreement, or today if I have to see, is expected to dispute relating to around 123 villages. Okay, but there is kiman koise 37. So a 123 villages or main kilometer kiman around 700 kilometers. So hardly jodi moi ko kobat 104 kilometer he amar solve ase, baki major khinit amar ki ase disputes ase. So the agreement is expected to dispute the solving of around 37 villages as of now. Okay, but total amar kiman ase around 123 villages. Remember, very important. Okay, and we can see about that ebilakar claims ki ase, both kini claims ase, historical claims ase. Okay, then we have got demographic profile, administrative convenience, proximity to the border. Ebilakor kisuman claims or karone we have got such number of differences. Okay, so etu bostu amar thakibo lage. So we can see that today the borders, supposedly if I have to say about the Assam Arunachal border, enuka nohoy je amar major disputes hoy jay. Major disputes khub kome hoy, major disputes khub kome hoy, but yes, jetialoke because Assam or Arunachal logot problem to ki hoy kane amar logot, because we know that Arunachal is basically separated from Assam. আৰু মই ৰাতিপুৱাও কৈ আছিলো আজি যে আমাৰ প্ৰবলেম কাৰ লগত আছে, ডিসপিউটৰ বৰ্ডাৰ নাগালেণ্ডৰ লগত আছে, অৰুণাচলৰ লগত আছে, এফালে মিজোৰামৰ লগত আছে, এফালে মেঘালয়ৰ লগত আছে। কিহৰ কাৰণে? because this 4 states has been separated out from the region of Assam. So we do not have got border problems with whom? Tripura and Manipur, because they were never a part of Assam. Okay, so hetu bostu ami yate sabo lagibo through the proper survey, aru tar karone ami declaration to sign korisilo, and this declaration, that is the namsai declaration, becomes very important for your exam purpose. Okay, so yate ase মই কলো কেনেকে 120 borders কিমান district যায়, 12খন district যায়. Okay, so Arunachal Pradesh and 8 districts of Assam. So 12 districts are basically from Arunachal Pradesh and 8 districts are from Assam. So hetu karone etu news asile. Next ahi golo ki never share banking info, observe digital hygiene RBI to public. So yat mainly digital security kotha koa goise. So digital security ki ki ahe? Verify this user, then remember no reputed bank will ask for prepayment, then verify the lender's physical address, verify the authenticity, and beware of excessive interest, and also do not trust if the loan amount is approved without the KYC. KYC azikali sobote lagibo. So without KYC, no loan or no money can be extruded out from any number of provincialized or any number of valid banks out. Okay, so etu bostu amar karone bahut important hoy jay. So etia jodi moi aji kou yate aru eta kotha ase eta kobo, that is the digital rupee. Okay, so RBI is digital rupee. So mane ami ki hoba kotha koi asu yat, we have to say about the digital rupee and which is known as the e-rupee. So see, RBI defines the digital form of currency notes issued by a central bank as to be the e-rupee or digital currency. So it's a sovereign or entirely independent currency issued by the central bank. In this case, we have got the RBI, in accordance with the country's monetary policy. Okay, that is the main core motto of the e-rupee. So once officially issued, CBDC will be considered, okay, as a medium of payment and a legal tender by all three parties, that is the citizens, the government bodies, as well as the enterprises. Importantly, so being government recognized, it can be freely converted by any commercial banks to money or notes. So RBI is not in favor of e-rupee today, which is with interest. So because people might withdraw money from banks and convert it to digital rupee, causing the banks to fail with their core motto of evolving with the concept of e-rupee. So today, what does this e-rupee directly holds a difference with the cryptocurrencies? So the underlying technology of cryptocurrency, which is known to be the distributed ledger. Okay, so can underpin parts of the digital rupee system, but the RBI is not decided on the CI. So today, if I have to see about the technology which is basically going for cryptocurrencies, there are various number of cryptocurrencies we can see. So, as you know, cryptocurrency definition to kobole jaun. So, what is the definition of the cryptocurrency? So, I can say that today the cryptocurrency is basically the work or some number of currency which is recognized as a public digital lender, and it is via a technology which is known to be the blockchain technology. So to use cryptocurrency, individuals or businesses must first acquire a digital wallet, which is basically a software program, okay, that stores users' public and the private keys. So today, what is this blockchain technology now? So today, if I have to say about the blockchain technology, it is a decentralized digital ledger in records transactions across a network of computers. And we know that blockchains is the founder of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, which we all know, but it may have potential uses beyond digital currencies. So here, that how the proposed central bank digital currency, that is known to be the CBDCs, to be issued by the Reserve Bank of India will play a critical role in improving the speed of transactions and reducing the cost of cash. Because today we can see that whenever we are basically focusing on the cash mechanisms, when we directly say about cash, okay, so today many number of users today still uses this cash transactions instead of going cashless. So cashless or not, but cash or not. So that is the core idea why we have to focus much more towards this cashless transactions and how we can directly make this number of element which is known to be the CBDCs. So today, what are some examples of cryptocurrencies that we can see? So at some point of time, I can say about the Bitcoin, which is basically a decentralized cryptocurrency. I can say about the Ethereum, ETHEREUM, Ethereum. I can say about the Ethereum. So Ethereum is what? It's decentralized currency platform. Then I can say about the Litecoin. 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 Then I can say about the Ripple. I can say about the Bitcoin Cash, BCH Buliko. But today we do not see that in India the legal status of cryptocurrency is in a state of flux. India has not recognized cryptocurrency to be its legal tender, and the Reserve Bank of India has issued several number of warnings against the use of these cryptocurrencies. Even in 2018, the Supreme Court struck down a circular of Reserve Bank of India which bans financial institutions from dealing in digital or cryptocurrencies. Also, if I say about in 2022, the government of India mentioned in the Union Budget of 2022-23 that the transfer of this vital currency or cryptocurrency asset will be subjected to around 30% of tax. It will 2022 in their budget. I remember Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharamanji going on for this particular speech that kiman khini ami tax lagai so cryptocurrency use kora lage. So therefore, the government has also set up a panel to explore the political use of the blockchain technology and the possibility of using central bank digital currency, but it has not been regulated yet. So etu karone yate ami eta initiative loisu government je how this can speed up the transactions, reduce the cost of cash in our country, which is today becoming more and more costly. So yat hetu kotha ke yate ami pura totally alke describe korisu. Okay, so we have seen, okay, our finance minister. So this how the cryptocurrencies is being made. So yeah, okay, so the crypto story you can see from 2013. Okay, nation stage 2014 of momentum gain korisil. That's around 2017 July the first draft recommended. Then December Bitcoin hits all-time high of $20,000. April of RBI banks from supporting cryptocurrency payments. February 2000, ex-finance minister Arun Jaitley says Bitcoin not a legal tender. Then around July 2018, exchanges depend on private peer-to-peer networks. 2018 October, Uncoin launches first crypto ATM in India. Then Yate Sastrik Vishwanath arrested by Bangalore police for using a Unocoin, which is basically a cryptocurrency. Then government panel recommends 10-year jail term, hefty fines for anyone using the cryptocurrency. And then this March 2020, we can see Apex Court lifting ban, for which the cryptocurrency bill 2021 came into prominence, which was introduced in the Lok Sabha by the government to regulate the thriving market of cryptocurrency in India. Okay, so it was a brief history of the cryptocurrency. Next, kihor karne asa news to MV Ram Prasad Bismil, longest vessel to sail on Brahmaputra. Okay, so it ki hoy, we can see it reached Pandu. So you can see this MV Ram Prasad Bismil. Edu ekon. Okay, longest. So it will reach Pandu after a pilot run of heavy cargo movement from Haldia, which took 28 days. Haldia Korose, it is in West Bengal. Okay, so the significance of this pilot run is that it lays down the path for commencement of large operations from Kolkata to Guwahati via the Indo-Bangladesh protocol route. Okay, so Ami Jano, if supposedly this is India. Okay, so we have got a country of Bangladesh over here. So yate ekon Ganga hai, that is the NW1. Then we can see Brahmaputra NW2 over here. So it basically meets at Bangladesh and ultimately flows to Bay of Bengal. So yate jab ami meet koru to tarpa ami eneke ahi eneke goi ami Guwahati paisu hi. So therefore this is the respective element through which this pilot run is basically done with respective to this MB Ram Prasad Bismil. So as I say about the MB Ram Prasad Bismil, so yate when it successfully completed in apprising pilot run, this government, this movement of this cargo, the significance of this pilot runs down or lays down a particular aspect is that today to connect a cargo from regions like Kolkata, from regions like West Bengal is not directly a difficult deal for a country like India. See, today we have got the chicken corridor. Okay, as I say, chicken corridor. We have got a chicken corridor over here, through which the railways, through which the roadways, and therefore it's a very choke route to transfer each and every items. But if you want to leverage some of the greater access towards Northeast, we must take the help of Bangladesh, which gives us a shorter route. So as I moi ekon kotha kong, ekon jahazor kotha jodi kong. So it is basically 90 feet, 90 meters long. Okay, important point. Likhilabo para tumaloke. It is 90 meters long and 26 meters wide. 90 meters long or 26 meter wide. Loaded with a draft of around 2.1 meters. 2.1 meters. Etu ki hoy? Draft majority. Okay, and with this you can say that through, because a movements to kar karone kun responsible hoy? The Inland Water Authority of India, that is the IWAI. Our Bangladesh kunto authority jorito hoy ase? The Bangladesh Inland Water Transport Authority, which is also known as BIWTA. BIWTA. Okay, so ami ki boli ko? Ami ko IWAI, Inland Water Authority of India. Okay, so that is one of the major aspect why this particular information was in use. Next I say ki Amrit Gig City to be set up in Guwahati. Phase 1 of the world class integrated business city spread over 100 acres expected to be completed by 2030. So yate Amrit Gig City boli koa lage mane ki hoy? Amrit Gig. Okay, so Atal Mission for Renovation and Innovation Technology. So yate ami Gig City boli koa lage ahi jay Global City or Guwahati Integrated Global City. Hetu koe swami ki Gig boli ZIZ. Okay, so Guwahati Integrated Global City. Aru etu budget speech of koisile 2022 sonot. Okay, and therefore we have seen that the proposed newest world-class integrated business city will be fully planned in an area of around 1,000 acres. Very important. Okay, 1000 acre bonabo. Okay, then if I have to say about something about the Amrit mission, so it is one of the most important element of the urban rejuvenation. Okay, because we can see that this mission was launched in around June 2015 with the goal of creating an infrastructures that could guarantee sufficient amount and reliable network of water supply, reliable sewage networks, and also sufficient amount of cleaning in various cities across India. So even if I have to say about the JN Uram, which was an urban program that was started back in 2006 during the time of UPA, it was also to promote what? It was also to promote and expedite the planned development of around 63 identified cities at that point of time. So today, if I have to say about the completion terms of Amrut, it has completed around 7 to 8 years today. And therefore today we can see that Amrut mission is very much successful. Because today, if I have to say that this mission has commemorated to 8 years, so the National Institute of Urban Affairs, which is an independent division under the Ministry of Home and Urban Affairs, who has a responsibility of bridging the gap between research and practice on urbanization related issues, which will also establish the date marking the successful completion of this particular projects. So even if I have to say about the Amrut rankings, various number of states, both states of Amrut ranking are under correct. And therefore we can see major number of states like Telangana, they are leading in such number of developments. So therefore in every categories, Guwahati is also on the verge of development, and therefore even the government today has also thought, it is really moi kong, je amar jekhini jagir holo, so amar paper mill asile, okay, Hindustan paper mill, okay, so etuk ami ki banabole chai asu, satellite township. কেনেকুৱা হয় satellite township বিলাক? Supposedly if this is Guwahati, এটো কি হয়? Supposedly this is art. So art or satellite কি হ'ব? মুন হ'ব ইয়াতে. So এই মুনটো কি কৰিব? এনেকে ঘূৰি থাকিব আৰ্টৰ কাষে। So in the same way, this is the same approach that we need to take. So main হল এখন Guwahati, that is GHY, আৰু satellite township বিলাক ক'ত থাকিব? অলপ বাহিৰে থাকিব। So what are these? These are the moons of Guwahati. তো আজি ইয়াতে বনালে জাগিৰোডত, কালি বনাব পাৰে ক্ষেত্ৰীত, কালি বনাব পাৰে সোনাপুৰত, পৰহি বনাব পাৰে হাজু ফালে, এদিন বনাব বকৰ ফালে। তো এইবিলাকক কি কৰিব? ইয়াৰ যিখিনি, কাৰণ আজি মানুহে কি কৰি আছে? সব গুৱাহাটীলৈ আহি আছে এনেকে এইটো যাও ইফালে, আজি সব গুৱাহাটী ফালে আহি আছে। So everyone is basically coming towards this particular side. But at some point of time, we do not want overpopulation in this, because Guwahati is totally packed today. জাগাই নাই। So now people needs to be shifted towards some other areas. এতিয়া এইমছ বনাই দিলে outside Guwahati. তো এইমছৰ চাৰিওকাষে মানুহ বহিব নবহে। There are flats coming up. So that is the main purpose of going for satellite townships, and even the Guwahati integrated global city, that is another Amrit, they are also focused on this particular aspect of making Guwahati a planned city in the coming times. Okay? चलो नेक्स्ट क्या है? नीति आयोग डेवलपिंग नेशनल जेंडर इंडेक्स। रो ब्लड हो ऐसा लगता है, ओ ब्लड हो जाए होते केवल टेक्नोलॉजी ना होए। एनीवेज মই আৰু অকণ সৰু কৰি দিলো ভালকে গম পাবলৈ। ওকে, ওপৰৰ টপিকটো পঢ়িবা। নীতি আয়োগ, because it's basically a cutout of the newspaper. Okay, so therefore it may comes in certain period of time, so no issue with that. আমাক কি লাগে? আমাক লাগে টপিকটো। ওকে, আৰু টপিকটো দেখা পাই আছা। ওকে, যদি দেখাও পোৱাও নাই দুজনমান চশমা লগাই লোৱা, একো দিগদাৰ নাই। So anyways, if I have to see about the Niti Aayog's developing national gender index, so national gender index বুলি কোৱা লগে লগে মই কি বুজো? So you can see that Niti Aayog is basically promoting the gender equality in our country. Okay, our gender equality is very much immediate and essential for our country, because we know that we have got women, we have got less women empowerment, even we have got less people who are skilled and going for empowerments. Okay, so even a problem more again. So Niti Aayog is working on development of a national gender index that will be used to measure the progress and identify persisting gap in gender equality in order to make informed policy decisions. Okay, so আজি যদি আমি চাও ইয়াতে gender equality বা gender manage up সোয়া, the unemployment rate, okay, so male or unemployment rate and women, so you can see this is female, so you can see yes, the unemployment rate is very much, okay, male or bostu kom, but yate bostu bahut beshi, then you can see it is in Kerala. Okay, Kerala kiman, like we can see about the unemployment rate is very, the difference is there. Okay, so that average male and female rates too you can find 6.7 to 2.3%. Okay, that's what jodi matolle down you can see that village wage disparity is there amongst the male and female. Okay, because the potential of disparities can be seen between male and female, and therefore this is the major cause of worry in our country. So এই বস্তুটো আমি এবাৰ চাব লাগিব। Okay, তো হেতু কাৰণে ইয়াতে even the NITI Aayog is planning for this gender gaps index. Next, if I comes towards the environment, okay, about the intergovernmental panel on climate change, so IPCC. Now if I have to focus on this particular element of IPCC, yate basically say that finalize the second part of the sixth assessment report climate change 2022 impacts, adaptation and vulnerability. Yat amar janibo laga iman eku nai, yat khali is a sixth assessment report to publish hoise aru yat kunkhini kotha upor koa ase about impacts, adaptation and vulnerability. So yat hetu eta theme or tagline hoy of this IPCC sixth assessment report. Okay, so nothing more to know in this particular element. Next ami jodi ahu high voltage power line over Dipor bill posing threat to AV fauna. Okay, so yate অকল এই হাই ভোল্টেজ পাৱাৰ লাইন কিটাই নহয় যেকিটা দেখিছা তোমালোকে এইকিটা। ওকে, হাই ভোল্টেজ পাৱাৰ লাইন ইয়াৰ মাজতে এই ৰেলৱে ট্ৰেকটো দেখিছা চাগে তোমালোকে। ওকে, এই ৰেলৱে ট্ৰেকটো বহুতখিনি ইয়াতে কনফ্লিক্ট কৰাই আছে বিটুইন হুম ম্যান এনিমেল। ওকে, এণ্ড ওভাৰ এক্সক্লুসিভলি দ্য ইনট্ৰুজন অফ হিউমেনছ ইন দিছ পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ এৰিয়া। ইয়াত মানুহ বহুত বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে আৰু অবভিয়াছলি আমাৰ যিটো সলিড ওয়েষ্ট ডিসপোজাল জিএমচি সেইটো কোনখিন আছে, সেইটো ইন্ডিয়াছ দীপৰ বিলৰ ওচৰতে আছে আৰু তাৰ পৰা গুটেখিনি সিপেজ হৈ পেলাই এই পানীবিলাক কেমিকেলাইজড হৈ আছে। So that is one of the major challenge that is occurring in this particular area. Okay, so yate high voltage 220 kilowatt power line of the Assam Electric Grid Corporation Limited is basically passing over the globally famous Dipor Bill wetland of Guwahati city. So yate jodi moi kon Dipor Billor kotha, Dipor Bill is what? So it is one of the largest freshwater lakes in Assam, which you all know, and it is the state's only Ramsar site besides being an important bird area of the BirdLife International. So obviously it is located to the southwest of the Guwahati city in Assam and also in the erstwhile water channel of the Brahmaputra river. So the lake expands up to around 30 square kilometer in summer and reduces to about 10 square kilometer during the time of winter. Okay, pani komi gole obviously etu hoboi. So the wildlife sanctuary is around what? 4.1 square kilometer. It was essential hoy janibo lagibo within this one. So what is the importance of this wetland? So it constitutes a unique habitat of both the aquatic flora and avian fauna. So hetu kane yat koa gosile ki hetu kane yat koise av fauna. Okay, so it is not only of the birds, it is also of the respective aquatic elements, aquatic flora aru av fauna. Bird sanctuary hoy, so hetu kane birds jo ahe yate. Okay, to tar kane ye high voltage lines bilake digdar korise. So it has both biological and environmental importance besides the only major storm water storage basin. Okay, so eto ki kore sponge nisna kam kore pani khini tat gole tolopa soak kori lay. So therefore it provides a meal for livelihoods for also a number of local families. So yat jodi jikhini aquatic species hoy hekhini jodi borbad hobole dhore, hekhini jodi poribole dhore, hekhini jodi nuhua hobole dhore, then obviously the local populace cannot survive. So recently 6 young girls from the fishing community of Assam have developed a biodegradable and compostable yoga mat called Murhan yoga mat of this area. It is important hoi jay jani loba Murhan yoga mat. Etu news asile Murhan yoga mat. Okay, importantly. Okay, so aji etu concern ki ho karone asa because its water has becoming toxic and it has lost many of its aquatic plants which they are directly feeding upon, and it has for decades been threatened by the railway track, okay, which is set to be doubled as well as electrified. So aji etu kotha jetia union ministry koa goise, so union ministry koise thik ase ami bhabim kotha to. Okay, eta lage ami bhaba nai, so we will think upon it and then we will let you know. So hetu karone ei amar area khini eta news ot asil. Okay, Guwahati's air quality turning poorer by day. So it was koboi na lage. Okay, because of the overpopulation and also because of the air quality we are basically decreasing. Okay, so today if I have to see about the data, so here the data to likha ase tumalke sabo pada. So you can see about Guwahati. Okay, Guwahati kot pori ase, poor category pori ase. okay to yate jikhini amar index value hoy etu around 230 which is much more prominent pollutant pm 2.5 and based on number of monitoring station it is on 3 haba iman monitor laga hoise so etia amar yate Guwahati air quality to ki hoye ase poor hoye ase very very poor okay so obviously it is not a good sign for a city like Guwahati which is ever growing in coming times. Death of vultures expose a threat to scavenger species. So, biggest ever mass deaths of vultures in Assam that left over 100 birds dead, and the death of 100 Himalayan griffon vultures and a steppe eagle in Milanpur area of Choigaon in Kamrup district has been attributed to consumption of pesticide-laced goat and dog carcasses. Okay, so Himalayan griffon is listed as a near threatened in the International Union for the Conservation of Nature red list. Okay, so ইয়াৰ পিছত আমাৰ কি হয় anti okay তাৰপিছত I can see about threatened okay তাৰপিছত আমাৰ আহে কি around vulnerable তাৰপিছত আমাৰ আহে endangered তাৰপিছত আহে critically endangered তাৰপিছত extinct in the wild and lastly extinct okay so এইটো এটা আমাৰ IUCN red listor category হয় so I can see that the global population of the bird has recorded a sharp decline over the years আৰু এইটো আমাৰ কাৰণে বহুত বেয়া symptom হয় ঠিক আছে that why these birds are basically dying why this number of elements is basically happening in our state so yate amar ki hoye ase mainly the pesticides which are getting used pesticides etu bahut beshi hoise aru yar eta deteriorated quality amar karone use hoa hoise deteriorated quality okay jo toxic elements bahut beshi thaka hoise aru hetu karone ei incidents black hoye where this number of creatures which are basically the tertiary level consumers so technical die hobo laga hoise so that is the main aspect of this particular news next UN water 22 March important hoy world water day okay making invisible groundwater making the invisible visible the theme of the world water day 2022 okay so groundwater to ki hoy we all know because it provides almost half of all drinking water worldwide about 40% of the water for irrigated agriculture and about 1/3 of the water required for industries okay so ebla core pora hai groundwater to it sustains ecosystems maintains the base flow of the rivers and prevents land subsidence and sea water intrusions okay etu ahil amar part so yate ja Dipor Billor aku kotha loi ahisile so yate moi hetwe koi asilo je Dipor Billor jitu railway line etu shift kora kotha bhabisile shift kora will be considered বুলি কৈছে কোনে কৈছে union ministers okay so etu কিহৰ কাৰণে হৈছে because we can see various number of man animal conflicts okay train or line dal এনেকে থাকে we can see this to be the train line okay so train or pa jetia amar train line eke train ahi thake so obviously this is a jungle area so if already obviously from here to here the elephants do cross and not only elephants various number of wild animals so they directly comes in the collision towards the railways and therefore the deaths of various number of elephants as well as various number of wild animals takes place so tar karone yat concern dekha goise that how we should conserve this particular element of Dipor Bill so you can see this picture eto railway line hoy so if you dekhisa this is the also the wildways this is the wildways so obviously here was there anege cross hoy then obviously these things basically happen aru yat bahut khini hati ase jar karone elephant conflict to amar yate basic hoy so Assam green mission to be launched so yate Assam green mission in accounts of what the Green India Mission with respective to the Indian government. So today the Green India Mission, the main objective of the Green India Mission is what? It is to increase the forest cover to around 5 million hectares and also increasing the quality of the forest cover in another 5 million hectares. So it was the main objective hoy. Tar pisot baki quality to increase kora, grassland revival kora, wetland revival kora, okay tar oporat mining areas khini lopot control kora jekhini abandon hoy gol ta ko regenerate kora ravines bilak regenerate kora scrubs bur regeneration kora okay urban areas lahe lahe greenery felwa so ei bostu bilak tar eta subsequent eta objectives hobo pare so today we have implemented this at national level also the state forest development agency is to guide this mission for better implementation because obviously the state government knows much about this respective aspect so ekhini amar kane important hoy jay okay then also we can see about that this particular mission has impacted states like Assam which choose to make Assam green cover of the state from 36% to 38% so etia amar sor je 36% ase to ami through this green mission ami etu kot loi jam 38% loi jam in a span of 5 years by adopting the Miyawaki model So যদি মই কওঁ Miyawaki model to কি হয়? So today the native trees of the region are identified and divided into 4 layers. Miyawaki model process to কৈ আছো কি কৰে 4 layers shrub আহিব, subtree আহিব, tree আহিব and canopy আহিব. লিখিলো মই এটা shrub আহিব, subtree আহিব, tree আহিব and lastly canopy আহিব. Okay, so এটা কি হয়? It is basically one of the process which is identified in the different 4 layers. Now the quality of the soil is analyzed and biomass which should help enhance the perforation capacity, water retention capacity and nutrients in it are mixed into. Then a mound is built with the soil and the seeds are planted at a very high density. And this is basically from 3 to 5 saplings per square kilometer. So the ground is covered with a layer of what? Mulch, MULCH. Okay, to cover it. So today, this is the basic process through which this plant is basically going to become a huge plant, and this is one of the best practice that has been done by a country like Japan. So in this whole process, I can say that in this particular process, the plant grows 10 to 30 times much faster as compared to the normal times. Okay, 10 to 30 times faster ho jay. Okay, denser ho jay. And also I can say that Miyawaki models helps to create a forest in just 20 to 30 years. 20 trees বছরে লাগে. While through convention methods, it takes about 200 to 300 years. Just see the difference. What 20 trees বছৰ, ক'ত 200-300 বছৰ. So হেতু কাৰণে এটো আমি কি কৈছো? Japanese Miyawaki of afforestation. যদি আমাক afforestation লাগে, then obviously we have to go ahead with this particular model. আৰু এটো এটা আমি এনেকুৱা নহয় যে ষ্টেটছে কৰা নাই. তেলেংগানো কিবা হাৰিথা হাৰাম বুলি এটা আছে. So through this we can see that eta ami plantation target loisu, okay, which is known as the TKHH. So therefore Miyawaki is a technique pioneered by Japanese botanist Akira Miyawaki, jar namot Miyawaki method to koa goisile, which helps build dense native forest in a very short time of around 20 to 30 years instead of going for 200 to 300 years. Okay, so etu asile amar Miyawaki model, and through this we are directly trying to launch the Assam Green Mission. Okay, so tar karone amar eta yate initiative loa goise. Okay, and to ensure safe passage to wild animals crossing from Kaziranga to Karbi Anglong across NH 715 and elevated corridor of 35 meter 4 lane proposed with tunnels has been proposed. So etu agi ase kunkhine Kaziranga in this NH 715. Next, concern over electrocution of hollow gibbon at Barekuri. Okay, so yate hollow gibbonor kotha ahi hollow gibbon. So the tailless hollow gibbons is the only ape found in India. Okay, this is the only ape that is found in India which are tailless. That's an important feature hoy mano. This primate is native to eastern Bangladesh, northeast India and also southwest China. Eastern Bangladesh, northeast India and southern China. Sorry. Okay, important one. Okay, to be approximate south, to be precise, it was southwest China bole likhi debo. Okay, eastern Bangladesh, northeast India and southwest China, to be precise. So today this hollow gibbons has been categorized under two holes. দুটা টাইপৰ hollow gibbons categorized হৈ আছে. এটা কি হয়? Western hollow gibbon. Western hollow gibbon এটা, আৰু সেকেন্ডটো কি হয়? Eastern hollow gibbon. দুটা টাইপৰ আছে hollow gibbon. So Western hollow gibbon যদি মই ক'বলৈ যাওঁ, it inhabits in all states of northeast, restricted between the south of Brahmaputra river and east of the Dibang river. Okay, and outside India it is found in eastern Bangladesh and northwest Myanmar. Western hollow gibbon. Okay, And this western hollow gibbon is basically categorized under the endangered list. EN বুলি কৈ থওঁ আমি, EG নকবা EN কওঁ, endangered list under the IUCN. আৰু eastern hollow gibbon to it inhabits specific pockets of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam only in India and Delhi. Okay, আৰু যদি মই চাইনাত কওঁ সাউথ ওয়েস্টার্ন চাইনা, আৰু অলপ সলপ পোর্শন ক'ত পোৱা যায় নৰ্থ ইষ্ট ম্যানমাৰ। আৰু ইয়াৰ ৰেল লিষ্টৰ নাম কি ভালনাৰেবল, এটা এন্ডেঞ্জাৰ্ড আছিলে এটা ভালনাৰেবল আছে। সো হি ইজ ভেৰি মাচ এট মোৰ প্ৰক্সিমিটি এজ কম্পেয়াৰ টু দিস ইষ্টাৰ্ণ। ইষ্টাৰ্ণটো ঠিকে আছে, ভালনাৰেবল হৈ আছে, ইটো এন্ডেঞ্জাৰ্ড কেটেগৰীত গুচি গ'ল ৱেষ্টাৰ্ণ হিলক গিবন, কালি পৰহি ক্ৰিটিকেলি এন্ডেঞ্জাৰ্ড গুচি যাব। But in India, both these species are listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. That means they are getting the top VVIP protections. That is the hollow gibbons. Okay, so etu karone ami janu today the national park like Raimona in Kokrajhar, which is basically focusing on this hollow gibbons. Okay, chalo next ahe. So eta concern to ki hogane aisile etu koi dia agote concerns aise because these apes are not directly preserved, and we can see that the preservation ability of these apes is not specifically done, and obviously killings are more rapid for this particular species. আৰু তাৰ কাৰণে ইয়াতে কমিউনিটি এৱাৰনেছ টো বঢ়াবলৈ ইয়াতে ৰিকুৱেষ্ট কৰা গৈছে কাৰ পৰা গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ ডাইৰেক্টৰ পৰা। ওকে, চলো Okay, Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary located in the Moriani Range near Jorhat district of Assam. Very important. Holongpar Gibbon Sanctuary, border of Nagaland. Okay, important. Next, Assam government is committed to create an enabling ecosystem to promote electric vehicles for green and clean mobility. Again, yate ami green hydrogen, okay, cleaner air, ebilakor kothai ami yate besi focus koribole chai asu. So operational guidelines of electric vehicles policy of Assam 2021 electric transition, this is very very important thing associated with this particular project or initiative. So yate ki koa goise, key incentives, incentives 100% exemption on registration charges, road tax and parking charges, up to 20,000 subsidy on 2-wheelers, 50,000 subsidy on 3-wheelers, 1.5 lakh subsidy on 4-wheelers, retrofitment incentives, then for charging infrastructures koribo, also for manufacturers. This is the amount that has been given to this particular element. So ইয়াৰ লগত আমাৰ এটা important aspect কি হোমাই থাকে, important aspect হোমাই থাকে the FAME scheme, the faster adoption of modified vehicles on electric vehicles. Modified বুলি কোৱাৰ লগে লগে hybrid আহি যায়। Okay, so যদি hybrid vehicle কথা কওঁ আজি মই কওঁ কি the Grand Vitara, okay, Grand Vitara কাৰ হয় Nexar হয়, এখন hybrid হৈ যায়, even Toyota Hyrider, so এইবিলাক কি হয় এটা হাইব্ৰিড ভেহিকলছ হয়। ওকে, লঞ্চ কৰিছে কিহক আন্ডাৰ দিস ফেম স্কিমছ, আৰু এটা ফেম 2 স্কিম চলি আছে। ওকে, so that is one of the element of this particular news. Next, internal security eta ki aise, insurgency violence in north is down by 74%, government tells Rajasthan. So it considers insurgency, we all know about what basically is insurgency. So ami insurgency janu that anyone who wants to basically take up arms against the state and also contest about the state for its particular liberation, then ami hetu or for basically its like going outside the respective country. So today ami insurgency hit boli ko, and mainly taking up arms against the state and doing all unlawful activities and directly challenging the sovereignty and integrity of India, I can directly claim it to be some type which is known as insurgency. So hetu obviously amar eta komi gol, aru hetu karone APSPA ami remove kori dia goise, aru APSPA he karone concerned districts kisomanor dia ase. Okay, not over everywhere. Okay, so api janu we have got problems of insurgency right from a long period of time in this particular area. So at some point of time we have to think about that why insurgency sustained in this area for a longer period of time, because of less development, because of the less connections. Okay, so ekhini bostu ke thake, okay, because of the less interest towards the mainland by the mainland people towards the northeastern peoples. Okay, mostly tribal dominated. Okay, obviously tribal has got their different affiliations, cultures, etc. So ebilak dutaman tintaman reason for which the insurgency sustained here for a longer period of time. Okay, even employment opportunities were also very less. So therefore today it has been said that since the rapid development of insurgency has taken place is basically going, so therefore we can see that in northeast today the insurgency has come down by around 74%. Okay, Disaster management, alert in Assam over ASF in Mizoram. ASF মানে কি? African swine flu. Okay, African swine flu হৈছিলে. So it's কি হয়? It's a highly contagious and fatal animal disease. Highly contagious and fatal animal disease that infects and leads to an acute form of hemorrhagic fever in domestic and wild pigs. So what are the other manifestations of the disease? It includes high fever, depression hoy, anorexia hoy, loss of appetite hoy, hemorrhage of the skin hoy, vomiting and diarrhea hoy. So this was first detected in Africa around 1920s only. And historically, the outbreak has been reported in Africa and parts of Europe, South America, and even the Caribbeans. So however, since 2007, the disease has been reported in multiple countries across Asia, Africa, Europe, and in both domestic as well as wild pigs. So the mortality is close to around 95 to 100% if any person is directly affected with this disease. And since the fever has no cure, the only way to stop is by culling the animals. Maribo lage tarpsot. Etu karone egalman gahori mara jay. Okay, just when this swine flu comes into prominence. So therefore, ASF is not a threat to human beings, since it only spreads from animals to other animals. But ASF is disease is listed in the World Organization for Animal Health. So today, if I have to say about the clinical signs associated with this ASF, so what are the clinical signs? It includes chronic, subacute or acute form of vomiting, diarrhea, which I have all said, reddening of the skin, gummed up eyes, breathing, difficulties in coughing, abortions, weakness and unwillingness to stand. And what is the transmission things? Direct contact with infected pig, faces or body fluids, indirect contact via such as equipments, vehicles or people who work with pigs. Then pig eating, infected pig meats or meat products, pork bully, which is a very favorite element of many of the peoples living in this particular region. Also biological vectors such as ticks of the species known as Ornithodorus. So we can see that this is the respective element through which we have to control by culling this particular animals, or also through the Indian Veterinary Research Institute developed a cell culture which is known as CSAP vaccine, using the Lapinized vaccine virus from the foreign state. So process kori ase, but ami directly it would cure law paran, and therefore we cannot say that this new vaccine has been found to be more protective as compared to the other times. Yes, it will directly gradually becoming less element, and the new vaccine will directly produce protective immunity from all the vaccinations. But still, I can directly say that here the challenge is still with us with this element which is known as African swine fever. Okay. Next slide now. Community involvement can help solve man-animal conflict. So here I question that jimane amar man-animal conflict bahi goi ase. The major reasons for the conflict is growing human population. Okay, and obviously creating a reduction of resources, fragmentation of habitats and corridors. We can see even agricultural expansion and changing cropping pattern, their habitat destructions, and also impacts of infrastructural development and climate change has also impacted the conflict, and the major impacts of the conflict can be seen because of such basic reasons. Okay, so আজি যদি মই কম কিবা কিছুমান suggestions, so obviously there needs to be a proper report about how you should directly coexist with the animals as well as you being a human being. Also there should be properly some of the periodic awareness campaigns that needs to be emancipated across each district, across each villages, even considering the vibrant village programs. Also we need to skill those persons, or we have to directly go for skill development programs, taking up national wildlife action plans, which is basically going in from 2017. National Action Wildlife Plan 2017 to around 2031. National Action Wildlife Plan, very importantly. Okay, also we need to prepare a landscape-based approach which will maintain the ecological integrity. Okay, also will promote the conservation of biodiversity, also supporting the sustainable use of natural resources by local communities, addressing the root causes of conservation problems such as habitat loss, fragmentation, degradation, etc. So there are various number of case studies which proves that such number of appeal by the government needs to be much more success, because if I say about Kerala, so though seen a relative spike in recent years about this conflict, we can see that Kerala has got a very good number of control over this encounters. So today we can see of the regions in like Kerala, they have properly came up with various number of corporations associated, so that peoples much more know about the conservation strategies rather to kill them off or rather to fear them off. So hekinike yate directly eta appeal kora goise from the government, so that this type of challenges can be very much reduced in the coming time. So you can expect such number of questions to be also in your essays. Okay, so ekhane bhalke ekhini bostu olop side ba, since it was also in news. Okay, কি আছে? Okay, for the conservation of the respective areas, ইয়াতে desiltation of কথা কৈ আছে, এটো Borsala bill before and Borsala bill after restoration. Okay, so it's a wonderful initiative. Okay, dredging in process, এটো ক'ত Silsaku bill and Pamohi channel. Okay, so these are some of the important channels which needs to be addressed, because এইবিলাক এই প্ৰবলেমটোৰ কাৰণে আমি কি দেখি আছো, because of this particular problems being trapped, ইয়াৰ আমাৰ যেটো urban floodৰ প্ৰবলেমটো হয় or যেটো আমাৰ flash floods ৰ প্ৰবলেমটো হয়, এটো আমাৰ গুৱাহাটীত বাঢ়ি বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে, just because these bills are not basically utilized. Okay, so এটো কাৰণে ইয়াত আমি ক্লিনিং চলাই আছো, ড্ৰেজিং চলাই আছো, আৰু মেইনলি আমি কি চলাই আছো, desiltation চলাই আছো. So what do we mean basically by this desiltation? So seals are earthly matters, fine sand or light, carried by moving and running water and deposited as a sediment. A removal of such seals for the proper flow of river is known as desilting. মানে যত যদি মদ থাকে, জার্মস থাকে, হেবিলাক যে অতৰাই দিও, হেবিলাক আমি desilting বুলি কৈ আছো. What is the basic reason given for the necessity of desilting? Are increasing the storage capacity and checking eutrophic conditions. That means the plants can generate their respective elements of breeding or not. Ekhini yate directly কোৱা গৈছে. Okay, so what is done in the name of desilting is practically digging or excavation of lake bed. Desilting, if not done, is a planned way, creates isolated pits of considerable size in the submergence of area which may have lower bottom levels than the main storage. Thus, desilting said to be carried out for increasing storage capacity, practically reducing the actual utilized storage in most of the cases. So, a committee on desiltation of Ganga has recommended study of sediment transport process along with establishing annual sediment budgets to guide desilting activities. Okay, so yeah, it was an important aspect for desiltation. So yeah, the IPCC 2022 report on climate impacts, adaptations and vulnerability. Okay, so yeah, what key kiman ase, you can see about the vulnerabilities, like fires are much more, extreme heats are getting much more. Okay, so such conditions, it was a bhal data ase, bhal ke map khon diya ase, you have to just see, because today we know about the IPCC. So Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is an intergovernmental body of the United Nations, and the job is to advance scientific knowledge about climate change caused by human activities. So the World Meteorological Organization and the United Nations Environmental Program established the IPCC in 1988 only. So the United Nations endorsed the creation of this IPCC last year, and therefore it has a secretariat at Geneva, Switzerland, which hosted by the WMO, that is the World Meteorological Organization. Today it has got around 195 member states who governs the respective IPCC. So IPCC dekhai ki kun kita concerns mainly associated hoy with human activities. Okay, so eto amar eta major important aspect hoy jay about IPCC. So lastly, you have this code. So scan this code if you want more number of engagements from us, and also to get various number of resources from us absolutely free in nature. Okay, so today I can say that here the csap.co.in, if you visit this site, you can go with the various types of resources that which we are providing in free, and also you need to cater to the demands of our expectations, basically clearing our means, and how you could directly connect us. It is basically via this number 9127515541. Just gets us connected for some of the latest update associated with your pattern of questions that needs to be asked in the coming times in your upcoming APSC meets. So that was all from today from my side. Thank you all. Have a good day.